Hello, I'm John Barboza, and you are watching Hypnotism 101. In episode 39, I talked about hypnosis and dentistry. And today, my guest and I, Maureen Anderson, are going to elaborate on that. So one day, Maureen called me and said that she was going to the dentist and asked if I can go along with her. I said, sure. So she contacted her dentist and asked if she could bring a hypnotist with her, and he said, absolutely. So we went to the dentist, and he greeted us and asked what exactly was I going to do. I told him I was going to hypnotize Maureen, and then I was going to deepen the state, and I was going to numb the left side of her face so that he can work on the dental implant.
Yeah.
And he looked at me surprised because he thought I was just going to go there to relax her. But he said, okay. So he had his assistant have she actually brought the anesthesia in just in case she needed it. And so I quickly hypnotized Maureen with a speed induction, and then I deepened the state of hypnosis that she was in. And then I tested how deep she was with Aaron's 6-depth scale. So what I did was I had her eyes closed, and I told her that she could not open it. And then when she tried to open her eyes, she couldn't open them. So I produced eye catalepsy. I then had her extend her arm out and told her she could not bend it, and she tried to bend it and she could not. So that was successful. That was called arm catalepsy. So I knew she was going pretty deep. And then I had her try and remember her dentist's name, and she looked at him and could not remember it. So I knew she had amnesia, and we were ready to proceed. So we were pretty much ready for the dentist to do his job. And what I did was I had her imagine, while she was hypnotized, that she was in a kayak. And she was just moving down the river. And it was midwinter, I think it was. And I had her imagine that it was about 10 degrees outside. And she imagined that her hand was just floating in the water. And as her hand was in that frigid water, it began to numb her hand and her fingers. From there, once her hand was completely numb, I had her move her hand up to her face. And as she moved her hand up to her face, all the numbness from her hand went into the left side of her cheek, in the area where the dentist was going to work. Once that was completely numb, I pretty much told the dentist, she's all yours. So I moved away, and he got right in there and he did his job. And he was actually doing a what? A dental implant.
Dental implant, yeah.
So I'm going to let Maureen tell her story about what she felt and what happened.
So I had had this procedure done before, and it failed. I had a bone graft. It did not take. I probably went 5-10 times to the dentist office, and there's a procedure that you go through, steps to get there. And I had pain, I was on Motrin, I had bleeding, I had swelling. It was really, really uncomfortable. And I was hoping it would take, and when it failed, I was really nervous about having it done again. So what was offered to me, that we could do a piece going in my mouth and coming out. That wasn't an option for me. So he said, okay, well, we can do this again, no guarantees. So I opted to, have this done with the assistance of hypnosis. And I essentially went in with a hole in my tooth and came out with a brand new dental implant without any pain. As you can imagine, I was really, really nervous and anticipating, like the worst. And I was pain-free. I had no swelling. I had no bleeding. I didn't require any medication. And it was like miraculous.
Right. Yeah. So once the dentist he had completed the implant, I then took her out of hypnosis, and he and his assistant both sat down, and they were amazed. It's a pretty amazing thing to watch. He had told us that he had never done that procedure before without using anesthesia. And actually, he said that it was equivalent to having your nails pulled out with no anesthesia, and that's very painful. And he was so shocked that there was zero bleeding. And again, the assistant was shocked because when Maureen started talking, she looked at her and she says, "You're not even talking funny." Again, it was completely numb, but it was all up here. And so the dentist was able to do his whole procedure. And like with anesthesia, when you have the lidocaine,
Yeah, yeah.
that numbs you, and you have that in you for a while. After you left the dentist office, you told me you did what?
I went to lunch.
Yeah.
I had absolutely no pain, no
Okay.
swelling. I could speak. Did everything, went about my day.
Yeah. And so I also gave her suggestions that when she came out of hypnosis, she was going to feel even better than she felt when she came into hypnosis. And so it was just great. It was a great opportunity to do this. It was a good day for hypnosis. And hypnosis isn't just used for this type of procedure. You can also use it for people who are very nervous about going to the dentist. There's a high percentage of people who are just afraid to go to the dentist. And going to a hypnotist and just being relaxed and calm and able to sit in the chair is something that a whole lot of people can't seem to do. But with hypnosis, a very powerful tool that can be used to help you to be very comfortable and relaxed next time you go to the dentist. So it's something to think about. It's a good story. I enjoyed that, and I hope you guys enjoyed it also.
Yeah, thank you, John, because that would not have happened had I not done hypnosis.
Right.
I wouldn't have had such a good outcome.
Right.
Thank you.
So again, this is Maureen Anderson. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. And I'm John Barboza, and you are watching Hypnotism 101.